I've always felt like an immigrant growing up. I was born here, born and raised here. Both of my parents are the immigrants. They're the ones that immigrated from Cuba to the United States. But I've always felt like an immigrant because growing up, even though my parents instilled a love for this country because it's the country that, opened the doors for them, they get to, live here, they were able to leave Cuba, people were constantly questioning me and asking me, what am I? What are you, Natalie? What are you? And when I would say I am American, I was born here, they'd be like, but where? And I'd say, okay, well, if you want to be specific, I was born in Hialeah, but I was raised here in Central Florida. They'd say, no, like, where are you really from? And I'd say it's the same thing, like what I just said. And then I started to realize, oh, you're asking me where my parents are from. Oh, do you want to know where my parents are from? Yeah. Oh, they're Cuban. Oh, so you're Cuban then. No, because on my birth certificate, it says American. I was born here. But for Americans, I'm not American. I'm Cuban. And that's always made me feel like I don't belong here. Like, this is not my country. Even though it is my country, I was born here, right? I am Americanized. I've assimilated into the culture. I'm not American. And I came to the conclusion that there is no amount of assimilation that I can do. There is no amount of me refining my accent so I sound as American as possible, that I can dress like them, that I don't even know Spanish. I forget my Spanish, right? I follow all of the customs. I will never be American for Americans. It's just not going to happen, which is why there's such a disconnect for me, where I've never really had many American friends growing up because I felt like I'm not like them. They don't want to be my friend. We're very different. So the few Hispanics that were at my school, those were the people that I befriended. And it makes sense now because there were a lot of cultural similarities with those people. Right? We had a shared history, a shared background, whereas I didn't have that with Americans. They didn't like when I spoke Spanish. They would call me spicy. They would say I was too passionate. Just all of these things that built a wall. And now that I'm in Miami, I barely encounter Americans. I encounter people that look like me, have a shared history like me, have the same accent when we speak Spanish, all of those things, but I've never felt like an American, and it really hurt me growing up. Like, it did, because I wanted to have a cultural identity and I never got that. And I don't think I'm ever going to get that because I don't fully feel 100% American. And I think that a lot of first generation Americans feel the same way. I know I'm not alone in this. I know that I'm not alone, and that a lot of people feel that way, and they kind of feel like they don't have a home per se, right? Because also you're so you're pretty much Americanized, that Hispanics that are from the country of origin of your parents, or just Hispanics from a Hispanic country, they reject you. You're like, no, you're American, while Americans are rejecting you because you're too Hispanic for them. So it's like you're in between, like you don't have a country, you don't have a flag. And I found that in Miami, I've found so many people like me, where it's like, okay, you're like me. You were born here. You're first generation American. Oh my God, you speak perfect Spanish. Oh my God, you have these similar customs that I do. Oh, and you also have Cuban customs, and you also have American customs. Oh my God, I've found my people. But I didn't have that growing up. And I think it's super important to find that community.